Welcome back, folks. Our next guests, we have some special guests in today that are doing some incredible work here in the Charlotte area. That's through mentorship, encouragement, genuine community, women embracing abilities now, basically helping young girls with disabilities feel seen, supported, and empowered. And today we're talking about their mission and the impact that they're making here in Charlotte. So we're going to welcome our two guests. And the first question I want to kind of start off with is, for someone hearing about the organization for the first time, what's the heart behind the organization? What inspired you guys to create something unique as this?
So with Women Embracing Abilities Now Charlotte, it started out of just my lived experience. I was injured at the age of 16 in a car accident, paralyzed from mid-chest down. And I lived in a rural area in South Carolina and didn't have any other women, young girls with disabilities that I could talk to or relate to about what I was going through. So when I moved to Charlotte, I started working for a Center for Independent Living and connected with so many other people with disabilities, found other women with disabilities that I could relate to. And so I said, let me start a support group for women with disabilities here in Charlotte. And so, we just got together, did a lot of fun things. Zoom, I taught Zumba for 9 years, so I did, we worked out together, went out to dinner. We wanted to be seen and represented in the community so people will see that we're normal people.
Yeah.
So.
What do you wish people understood about living with a disability that people often just do not understand?
That disability should be normalized. Don't treat us like, don't look at us through a lens of pity.
Mm-hmm.
We do things differently than everybody, but that doesn't make us any different in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. So, treat us normally. Don't infantilize us in any way, or treat us like we're something other than.
Yeah. What do you feel like young girls are struggling with today?
Representation, not seeing themselves in, represented in magazines. You don't see, women with disabilities on TV. We're starting to see some integration into like fashion and runway shows and things like that. But oftentimes, even in those situations, we're tokenized instead of, we're not real models. We're literally there for to be tokenized, to be honest. And so
what are some things that you guys feel like needs to change specifically in the Charlotte area to make it more inclusive?
I would like to see Charlotte, truly listen, have us at the table.
Mm-hmm.
From planning when it comes to physical accessibility of buildings, programs and things of that nature. We need to be at every single table, because if we're not, there's a phrase that we use in the disability community: nothing about us without us. And I mean everything. We should have a voice at the table.
Mm-hmm. And you guys just wrapped up an event. Was it last Sunday? Talk to me a little bit about the importance of that event.
Well, the importance of that event was, and I'm going to back a little bit, because I met Monique through my job. I've been in the industry for about 18 years. Mm-hmm. So with my normal job, I do wheelchair accessible vehicles. Mm-hmm. So she was almost one of my first clients that we actually upfitted her car. So when I first got in the industry, I really didn't know and really didn't see a lot of people driving vehicles with hand control and anything like that. So it was like an eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
But we connected through one of her events as well, which was the Zumba-thon. Mm-hmm. And I was really blown away with how many people came out. Mm-hmm. And 90% of them were in wheelchairs, and they did Zumba all day. Mm-hmm. So it went back that far with us, and that's where we kind of collaborate on, because I have a nonprofit called Why Me Mobility Assistance. So we kind of collaborated this time to do that event Sunday.
The sundress and linen summer soiree.
Summer soiree, yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so we had pretty good turnout. Anything could always be better. And I think a lot of times when people see events, I think sometimes when it's a fundraiser or if it's, something for a specific purpose of helping someone, I think sometimes people are afraid, because they're like, I'd rather go do this thing or that thing, but it's like, hey, come out and support. Because I think sometimes that within that day, you're going to patronize somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think in that situation, it's like, hey, come out, support. You see events, a walk, a Zumba-thon, whatever,
Yeah.
Come out, even if you just come through, say hello, just kind of reach out, because a lot of times in situations like hers, a lot of people don't have help.
Yeah.
They may have government assistance, but that's how my nonprofit started, because I saw people that had government assistance, but they couldn't afford the vehicle part. And so the state didn't have to, pay any funds, because, hey, if you can't afford that part, then we don't have to pay for this part. And so that's where Wyoming Mobility Assistance came into existence, because I wanted to bridge that gap and try to help people be more in the community. And sometimes you think about just going to a doctor's appointment, being able to make it to a doctor's appointment. What if you don't have transportation? You have a 300-pound chair. Okay, how do I get there?
So both of your nonprofits kind of coincide a little bit together. Yours focuses on helping women specifically, and as far as professional development. Talk to me a little bit about the impact your organization has on women here in Charlotte specifically.
So I have had so many young girls that I've met here who I won't name names, so I'll give an example. I met one young lady who lived in a very rural area in Murphy, North Carolina. She met me at a youth leadership conference. I was one of the mentors there, and she and I connected, and she was just fascinated at me driving and working, and so I took her under my wing, and she actually got out of Murphy and moved to Charlotte, and her family was not happy with that. I was like, honey, this is your life.
Yeah.
You make your decisions. I will help you find the support that you need, connect her with resources, coached her on some things. She went to UNC Charlotte, got her master's degree in social work. That girl got her van. She's working and thriving, living her best life. I can't keep up with it. She travels all the time.
Prospering.
So I have so many stories like that to where they don't see, a lot of times, especially with girls, we're taught to, just stay at home, collect your disability check. Why you want to do this? You'll lose your Medicaid. And that is a huge issue and fear right now, currently, with this current administration.
Right.
But that should not stop them from wanting to live their life. to
Wanting
be a
more,
mom.
yeah.
I had 2 children after my injury. And that alone, people are like, whoa,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I mentor women and girls on parenting, pregnancy, and just providing support. I've mentored many through pregnancies.
Yeah.
Going to school, getting a career. So it's been amazing. And
Yeah.
and one thing about it, he'll say, hey, I met a young lady, I need you to meet her. Like it's yin and yang, brother, sister,
Community.
ping pong,
Yeah.
So this event, we have 2 different missions, but it was very much, it was just meant to be. It's about building community. Too many organizations like ours work in silos. So it's, with everything that's going on, we got to come together.
Yeah. Yeah. And talk to me a little bit about the fundraiser. You guys had a goal. Was it for $15,000? Don't quote me.
30,000.
30,000 was
Yes.
definitely off. Okay. Talk to me about the fundraiser and what you guys are hoping to do with that money.
Well, I think the goal was to try to reach the goal. I mean, it's just that
15,000
in
apiece.
itself. But I think on my side, my goal was to make sure that you want to have a successful event. You know, I mean, sometimes I think with fundraisers, it's tough. You know,
Yeah.
especially now, gas is high. You know, things are very expensive. So anything that anybody gives and anybody can come out to support,
Yeah.
you want to build and you want to build for your next event. Because, you know, sometimes, again, when you have challenges like some of our guests, you know, some of them had challenges as far as getting there. Because on
Yeah.
Sunday, you know,
Yeah.
transportation may not be as easy to get as
Yeah.
during the week. So we tried to, you know, do things that we could do. We would call people that may have had a van and see if they could help. And, you know, a couple of people did. But our goal was to really put our names out there. You know, and I think we did that because we had a pretty good turnout. Could have been better, of course.
Was this the first collaborated
Yeah,
event?
it's the
Okay, it
inaugural,
seems like a
yeah.
pretty good turnout.
It was.
Yeah.
I had a great time, but we didn't meet our $30,000 goal.
Okay, but that's still
But
open though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We still have our 50-50 raffle
Okay.
online. Check us out on Facebook. It's on our
Instagram.
Facebook page, Instagram.
And what's your Facebook page and Instagram?
It's Why Me Mobility Assistance, and then mine is Ween Charlotte, Ween CLT, Ween Charlotte,
Okay.
WEAN
Okay.
Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I immediately thought about a chicken wing. I was like, wait, what? Can I ask you why? Okay. Wing Charlotte. And then there they can find the fundraiser, they can click it, and they'll be able to contribute from there.
Yes.
Okay. And how long the organizations been operating?
So Ween and Ween stands is Women Embracing Abilities Now, and the premise of Ween is to wean women and girls with disabilities from a life of dependency to living independent.
Okay.
And so I want to use those funds to provide scholarships
Yeah.
for, you know, to help with career development, you know, school, Paralympic sport, whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
That's the goal for the funds. And I'm sure Why Me to get somebody in a vehicle.
Yeah.
Correct. And of course, we started out it was developed in 2023. So
Okay.
I'm pretty new. But
Yeah.
I've been in the industry a long time. You know, I've done a lot personally out of my own pocket. And so
Yeah.
for me, my goal has always been, even before I started a nonprofit, it was, you know, if I see someone that need help, if I can help them, I try to help.
Then you try to help them.
So we've been in existence since September 2023.
Okay.
And of course, the name, how the name was
Came about.
was in the industry when people explained what happened to them, their initial thoughts were, why did that happen to me? And so it was consistent in everybody's story, no matter what their story was.
Yeah.
It was, why did it happen to me? And of course, to test their faith, but then through technology, there's a lot of technology out there to help people with disabilities, whether it's driving, whether it's, you know, as a passenger or driver,
Yeah.
or, you know, through college, through work, you know.
Yeah.
There's just a lot out there now, even within the time that I've been doing it. There's been advances to where you see people in positions where you would not see them 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know she kind of talked a little bit. No, go ahead.
So I didn't answer the question.
No, you're good.
So Ween was started in 2010.
Okay.
It's a sister chapter of Ween Charlotte out of Baltimore. But
Oh,
we
okay.
were under the fiscal sponsorship of another nonprofit, so we officially became our own nonprofit in 2024.
Okay. So both you
Jules
guys are
kinda
kind
put
of.
the fire under my butt to get my
Yeah.
to
Get
my
things
own
moving.
501c3.
Okay, and so we talked a little bit about the impact. Before I wrap it up, I also want to know a little bit more about your story. She talked about her personal story, how, you know, obviously she, how this came about. What's your why? Specifically in this specific line of work. I know you talked about giving back in general, but what's your personal why for this specific line of work?
Well, my why is because I've been in the industry, so I've seen families, you know, struggle. I've seen them have assistance. It just wasn't enough. And so that's where, like I said, I really wanted to bridge the gap
Yeah.
between what they have available to them and then what they don't have available to them.
Okay.
So, and I think for me, my idea was, as far as bridging the gap, I think I could reach a broader reach. Because there are some places that will pay for the entire vehicle for them, but that's $80, $90 plus $1,000. And I think my process with that type of money, I could help maybe 2, 3, 4 people, just depending on what the need was. So I think I could just do more with the funds that's available.
Okay. Well, you had something you want to add, piggyback?
Yeah, I was gonna say, now you got it. So when I met Jules, and it's got probably 15 years ago, he came in my office where I worked at to pass out flyers for the company he worked for, and it wasn't just like, oh God, here's another van salesperson coming in. He came in and was like, hey, I do this for my job, but he had a flyer he made on his own to help a family. And he was doing it out of his own pocket. He's like, can y'all help? And he's like, so he's always, you gotta celebrate yourself, toot your horn, tell your
we try to be humble sometimes, but
his heart is so big. Jules just loves to help people.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why I was like, when he told me he started Why Me, I kind of figured he would, that planted the seed. I said, I think he's gonna branch off and do his own thing. So when he was like, hey, can you, I'm on his board. We, like I said,
You guys kind of collaborate and work together.
Exactly. So it was just absolutely. His wise because his heart is big.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, I want to thank both of you guys. I really appreciate your service. This is a very, very unique cause, and I've spoke with a lot of nonprofits and organizations. So this is really unique, and hopefully we can help them reach that goal of $30,000. They talked about going on their social media pages, check them out, and help them get closer to reaching that goal so they can help as many people as they possibly can here in the Charlotte area. We'll be right back after the break.